Okay, well, Krystal, you wrote a letter to the Vancouver province this past week discussing the fact that you were tired of being victimized by customers who come into your fast food restaurant. And of course, I won't ask you to name the restaurant, but I understand that you worked there for a while and are just tired of the abuse.
Exactly. Yeah, I've worked there for about 4 years now. Started when I was probably like 17. So I'm 22 now, and I've just been working there, making money for college and all that. So
you've been there for 5 years then?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, in this situation, I mean, obviously there must have been something that happened to you to make you write this letter. What was the incident that kind of set you off?
Well, me and people at my work have been talking about it for a while, writing in a note just because of the stuff that we were just sick and tired of. So the incident that set me off it was about 2 weeks ago now. And it was during lunch. It was about 12:30 or so. That's like our busiest time. And this lady comes in with a daycare of about 18 kids.
Ugh.
So we took her order and everything, and it came to like a little over $100. So she comes back after they eat, and she was talking to me, and she was asking if she could get 10% off because they had a lot of kids there, right? So sometimes, if we do offer, if someone comes in with a big group of people, we'll give them a discount. So we just explained to her that you're supposed to ask for the discount before you order, right? So, let me know before, because we can't really refund the whole order.
Of course. And
give you back the 10%, right? So just, I was just like, I'm really sorry. Next time you guys can give us a call ahead of time. We'll get everything ready for you guys. And she's like, well, get me your manager. I'm like, okay, hang on 1 second, right? So I grab my head manager. She comes up. Lady's just sitting there arguing with her, screaming at her, oh, you guys are, you're all rude and all this. So, I just looked over at my manager and I just gave her, kind of a look like, oh boy, right?
Yep.
Then she just goes off the deep end on me. She's just like, where do you rolling your eyes at, Barbie doll? Like, you guys are all rude, blah, blah. And my manager's just like, I don't understand, ma'am. Like, we're just, we just told you it's just something we can't do. So my manager just opens the till, pulls out a $10 bill. I'm like, here's your 10%, right? And then so I'm off work. I go outside. She's out in the parking lot, right? So I go out with my crew. There's 2 other girls who are off, so I'm outside, and she's just staring at me, and I was just like, okay, whatever. So I just look back at her, and then she's like, what are you staring at? And she comes over, I'm gonna make sure you lose your job, and call me a Barbie doll and all this stuff. And I'm just like, you know what, man? Like, you're really rude. You're sitting there with a daycare of 18 kids, and you're swearing at me. Like, you need to get a life, right? So
yeah.
Basically, that was the instance of just something. I'm not gonna take that anymore. You're sitting there verbally abusing me. You're embarrassing me in front of all my employees. You embarrass me in front of people who are sitting eating. I was just like, this has got to end. Like, she got in my face and she was gonna hit me, and she's holding a kid in her arm. It was just ridiculous. So.
Wow. I mean, I had the same thing at my restaurant where I work at as well as doing this job. I had a customer come in the restaurant the other day, and they had waited maybe 2 minutes. And I understand most people say, oh, well, you're just saying that because you're the one that was working, and employees never make mistakes. But no, I mean, this was seriously 2 minutes. I'm not even making this up. This was 2 minutes, because any more than 2 or 3 minutes, then it would have been my fault. But this was seriously 2 minutes, and the guy comes over, gets mad, makes this big scene, walks out of the restaurant. And I go out there, to say, I'm sorry, you didn't have a good experience, whatever. And then the guy wants to fight me. He puts his cell phone down on the ledge, takes his keys out of his pocket, and he wants to go. And I'm thinking, like, what is wrong with people? When did it become okay for them to want to fight employees at a restaurant?
Exactly. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know.
Now, in your letter, Krystal, you mentioned that you would be interested in getting some kind of law or regulation that would allow you guys to be protected from this kind of abuse, and I guess charge those who are abusive of employees at a restaurant.
Exactly. Well, if you're walking down the street and someone threatens you, you should, just the same as you should be able to do something there. You're at work. I mean, we've had people come in lots of times, older men who sexually but sexually harass girls who work with me, and we can't say anything. We mentioned stuff to our manager, and sometimes they might be like, oh, just throw it off, like, don't think about it, don't let them ruin your day, but you know what it really does?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, too.
I got home feeling really bad a lot of times, because the things that people said to me, and a lot of things that they've said to people I work with, it's not right.
Right. What's an extreme example of that? I mean, when you say you've gone home thinking, I can't believe someone said that, I mean, what are people saying?
You know, I've been called an idiot. We've gone home lots of times, like just the other day. Someone goes up to a girl I work with and says, hey, give me your girlfriend my number there. And then I'm just standing there. So you talk about her, you know, we get whistles and honks and, oh, hey, you know, I've been asked out on dates, like, daily by men who are over 50 years old, you know, and I'm 22.
Right.
It's just stuff like that goes on all the time. It just, you know, by the end of the day, you're just like, oh, I'm trying to do my job and I'm just getting harassed and stuff.
Well, I mean, like critics would say, Krystal, I mean, if you don't like what's going on, why not just quit and get a job somewhere else?
Exactly. They could say that, but, you know, I like my hours. I like who I work with. For the time being, you know, I'm trying to save up for college so I get the hours I want. You know, it's close to home. And, you know, I've been there for a few years now, so it's become like routine and I know what I'm doing, right?
And there's no reason you should have to quit your job because of the way customers are treating you.
Exactly.
I mean, that wouldn't make any sense to me either. You deserve to be treated with the same respect that you were expected to give the customers.
Well, exactly, right? And a lot of customers don't understand that if they go the extra mile for you and, you know, like even to come in and say, how are you doing? You know, a lot of times that puts a smile on my face.
Right.
Even if someone's to come in and, you know, be like, hey, how are you doing today? You know, you're going to get better service.
Exactly.
One thing. And I do understand, like, people at fast food, they do screw up a lot. Like, I've gone myself, you know, get cold fries, the wrong burger, and you do get mad, but there's different ways to deal with it.
Right.
Than to, like, I don't go up to someone and be like, you gave me the wrong burger and throw it at them or something, right? Like, just go and politely say, hey, you know, you messed up my order. Would it be all right if I got a new whatever?
Right.
And it'll be fine. You won't cause a problem or anything.
And you say in your letter here that working at the fast food restaurant has made you bitter, depressed, and very irritable. So there are effects that last longer than your shift.
And I've talked about it with people I work with, you know, like someone will come in and they'll say something to you the whole day through and you go home, you have attitude towards your friends. A lot of times I've gone over to my friend's house and, you know, they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you know, I just had a bad day. I'm like, I don't mean to take it out on you guys, but you really do. Like, you go home and, you know, you just rude with everybody else just because you've had, like, such a crappy day, so...
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. Has it gotten worse in your opinion in the last couple of years?
I'd have to say it has. I don't know what it is. I think people are just, you know, I don't know. They just seem to take it out on.
Because I've noticed that it's gotten worse. My recollection is, I mean, when I first started at the restaurant I work at, where I've been for several years, I've noticed that people, every once in a while, they get a cranky person, get mad, walk out. I mean, whatever. Yeah. But now the attacks are getting like verbally personal, and they're getting threatening. And now this last week, someone wanted to fight me.
Yeah.
Like that has never happened before. And I used to work at Denny's doing the graveyard shift. You know, I mean, there was the occasional drunken knife fight, I guess, but no one ever wanted to fight me.
No, I know exactly. Like same with that lady. She was. You know, in my face, actually, the people who I went outside with, they backed off. One of the girls was crying. She was actually that scared.
Wow.
And her boyfriend was there, and even he was like, you know what, I better not say anything because I'm going to get in trouble, right? So, you know, I tried to deal with it the best way I could, but it was getting to the point where I was like, you know, someone call the cops on this lady because, like, this could get physical.
Yeah.
She's actually, you know, in my face with, I don't know, and you don't know with people either. You don't know what they're going to do. I mean, she's out in the parking lot.
Absolutely, and you never know what can happen.
So, you know.
Well, Krystal, I mean, I think it's great you wrote that letter and wrote some awareness on the issue. And, you know, I definitely be interested in talking with you again in the future about this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want people listening to this to know about the fast food employees and when they're trying to do their job? What is it you want them to understand about your job?
Well, basically, I just wrote it because if one person read it and, you know, if one person read it and just changed the way that they, you know, like, oh, I remember that article, you know, I'm not going to give these kids a hard time today, and that's all I want. All I want is just people to, you know, treat people with respect. Just the same way as you go to a clothing store. You don't freak out over the wrong size jeans, or, you know, you just come back nicely and, hey, can I exchange this? You know, like, that's all I want. It's just, like, just come in and be more friendly, and, you know, just, that's all I want.